it's Rachel, and I am so excited to be back with you for the third installment of this video series, which are the energetic Tauroscope forecasts for the full and new moons. And for this video, we will be focusing on the full moon coming up at the end of this week. Well, you'll see this video by the time it's coming around, but as I'm filming it, the moon is coming up this week at the end of the week, and it is the full moon in Taurus on November 4th, 2017. So the last moon cycle, we focused on the relationship between the Aries and the Libra dynamic. So we worked a lot with balance and a lot with the other side of aggression and anger and balance. Balancing that out with neutrality and diplomacy and all of those other things. So we have been doing quite a bit of work in that area, and the moon cycles, I think, since the eclipse have been particularly intense. So I am seeing you and witnessing you and saying how proud I am of you for working through this energy. You are doing such an amazing job with your own healing. And I hope that these videos will serve as a tool for you to continue on in your healing journey and your journey to self-discovery and your purpose and making your desires become a reality. So this moon that we are dealing with, we're now in Scorpio season. So it's now Halloween, it's Halloween week. It's the end of the year. All the Scorpios are having their birthday this week or this month. And we are exploring the Taurus and Scorpio dynamic. And this is a very particular close dynamic to me because I am a Scorpio. My birthday is coming up next week, and my boyfriend is a Taurus, so we explore that dynamic every day in our relationship and in our lives. And so for those of you who are Scorpios or are Taurus and have that somewhere in your chart, or have friends and family or loved ones that are either of the signs, this is going to be a fun moon for you to be able to explore those dynamics of Taurus and Scorpio on the other side. So we have the full moon first in Taurus coming up this week, and then later in the month we'll have our new moon in Scorpio. So this is going to be really exciting. I hope that there's going to be some great energies coming through for us. I have my cards shuffled and ready to go. So let's see what happens. I'm just going to say a quick prayer to tune in, and then we'll get started. Dear guides and angels, please be with me now. Come down from the divine realm and connect. As I choose cards whose wisdom and messages represent the energy coming through for this beautiful full moon in Taurus on November 4th, 2017. Help me to be a clear and divine channel for messages that resonate for whoever may watch or come into contact with this video. Help me to bring through messages that are clear, that are inspiring, that are helpful, that can help us harness the energy of this moon so that we can continue to work through our blocks, to shift and transform energy, so that we can move forward on our path in creating and manifesting our greatest desires into our physical reality, all while listening to our own intuition, to our own inner guidance, and trusting the messages that we receive. May I be your humble channel, and may I be a conduit through which you speak for the highest good of all. Thank you. Okay, so the first card I'm going to pull is the general energy that's coming through for this moon, for this full moon. Let's see what the energy wants to tell us. So the first card that I pulled is the Eight of Wands. This is an awesome card. I've actually been pulling this a lot lately for myself. I believe that it represents a forthcoming explosion of movement in the area of our passion projects and our creative projects, our creativity. Lots of new beginnings happening in the creative realm for us at this time. We are the weather is getting colder, and so we are getting warmer on the inside, in our hearts and in our bodies and in our desires. The wands represent that fire, creative energy within us, and so this represents lots of forward movement in that area, even if it might not be in our physical realities, even if we're not feeling like we're seeing forward movement. It also represents like all of the forward movement that we're experiencing maybe in our planning right now. Maybe we're still in planning. You know, a lot of us are gearing up to take stock of everything that has come through this year. So maybe it's a lot of movement in the reflection and really taking a look back at what this year has been for us already, and starting to make those plans for the next year. I know for me personally, that's what I'm beginning to do, is I'm beginning to look ahead. So this card symbolizes that this moon, this full moon in Taurus, is actually a really, really great time to do this, because you're going to be supported by that earth grounded Taurus energy. Even though it's a full moon and it can get kind of chaotic energy wise during the full moons, the fact that we have the sign of Taurus really is a beautiful opportunity to create that space that's going to be able to ground us into what we are planning, what we are doing, and what we are planning for. So that's the general energy coming through, the Eight of Wands. Awesome way to start out. So the second card I'm going to pull is the card that represents the obstacles or challenges that may come up during this full moon, what we need to be aware of. So that card is the Seven of Cups. So again, lots of movement, lots of action happening, but the cups represent our possible reality of having lots of different directions, lots of different paths, lots of different places we can take this. You know, maybe we're experiencing endings and beginnings still, and we're starting to see what the new potentials are for where we want to take our business, or where we want to take our goals, or our purpose, or our focus. And we are placed in front of a lot of different options, and it might be overwhelming. You know, even this movement can also sometimes feel overwhelming. So the fact that we are able to explore these options with the groundedness of this full moon in Taurus is a really awesome opportunity. And as you can see, the different cups represent the different choices, and they each have a different focus. You know, some may be around our self-expression, or, you know, our sense of security, or our material needs, our emotional needs. So since this is a cups card, and the cups are really focused around emotions and intuition, it's a really good sign that we're going to want to pay attention to our intuition at this time, because it's going to lead us in the direction of the choice that is most aligned with our heart, that is most aligned with our spirit, and most aligned with our own path and our own true journey. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, know that that's okay. Know that this is a period where you're being called to evaluate your choices. You're being called to evaluate your decisions. And you have the support of this forward movement in the creative area to be motivated to spend time on this. So this is what is coming up for us in terms of obstacles or challenges, or what we need to be aware of. So if you find yourself feeling or looking like this card at any point in the near future, it's okay. It's where we're meant to be. This is the time for it. So that is the obstacles and challenges. And then the third card that I'm going to pull, as always, is advice and guidance for what to do with all of this. Okay, that's great, Rachel, but like, now what do I do? So this card will represent our some guidance and advice moving forward as we prepare to welcome the full moon in Taurus on November 4th. Okay, and that card is the World. Yay! This is an awesome card. It's a major arcana card, which means that it's very significant in terms of events that are happening, more so than the other two cards that I pulled, which are from the minor arcana. And the World is all about cycles, but also the completion of something, the fulfillment, the satisfaction, the completion. So, and this is guidance that I've also been getting personally for myself, is really the urge to kind of wrap up all of the lingering projects, all of the loose ends, all of the strings that are, loose and unattached. I'm really feeling called to offer the suggestion that this is a great opportunity and a great time in this, as we approach the end of the year in the next couple months, to really wrap things up that we are feeling we need to close the chapter on. It could be relationships, it could be projects, it could be collaborations, it could be even, organizations that we're connected to, any kind of connection that we're really feeling. And this is where you're going to listen to your intuition, right? Where you're feeling like, I think it's time, like, that the door needs to close on this particular client, relationship, friendship, physical space. So it's a time of that kind of wrapping things up, because we're getting prepared to welcome new things in at the end of this year and into 2018. So we're going to be required to have some open space before we can do that. And in order to have space, we kind of have to clean house a little bit and start to, tie up all those loose ends so that we feel confident and that we feel clear moving forward into the new year. But we still have a couple months left this year to be able to really focus on not only this, but also the other cards that have come through. So that feels really, really good. And remember that we have the grounding energy of Taurus to help us with that. It doesn't have to feel, even though what might have come through in some of the cards is overwhelming, it doesn't have to feel that way if we intentionally choose to give our attention to these things in a way that is grounded, in a way that is connected. So lots of focus on grounding at this time, so we can actually get up into our head and do the work, but we don't get carried away from it, right? So to recap, we have the Eight of Wands, which signifies lots of forward movement, lots of energy, exciting developments in the area of our passion, of our creativity, even in our foundation and our security. So that's a really positive aspect. And then what to be aware of is the Seven of Cups, the possibility that we have lots of different options laid out in front of us that could be potentially jarring or overwhelming, and we're not exactly sure which is the right direction for us at this time. but that's okay. This is the time where we're really going to be able to tune into our intuition and evaluate the choices that are laid out in front of us. And then for what to do with all of that, what's the next step is the world. And that is asking us to really focus on what is ending, what has been pulled into completion at this time, what is being fulfilled, and what are the things that need our attention in order to be wrapped up a little bit, to be tied up, to be squared away so that we can make room for what's to come. So that was such a beautiful reading. I wish you a very, very happy Halloween week and a very happy full moon. And if you would like to join me and connect with me in your own tarot reading, which will go into depth for what's in store for you for the rest of the year and even looking forward into 2018, I would love to connect with you. I'm offering readings at least until Thanksgiving of this year, but I have the whole next month open to connect. So please get in touch. Send me a comment. I'm going to include the link for you to book your session and get in touch with me if you have questions. I will be happy to answer any questions and share all the details of how you can receive a reading for yourself. And I look forward to seeing you at the next new moon. Thank you.